I've come to talk about Trans Pups Pets UK. We're a community of trans pups, pets and their handlers, working together to amplify the voices of trans pups and pets in the kink and fetish community. We aim to improve inclusion, accessibility and visibility for trans pups, pets and their handlers at fetish events and in online communities across the UK. We're also a social sanctuary for trans pups and pets to express themselves and support one another as best we can in solidarity. The idea for the group was conceived by myself and Quincy in autumn last year, just before the Puppy and Trainee UK competition. Once Tony, who we'll be hearing from later, had been elected as Trainee UK 2023, they came on board with the initiative as well. It was originally designed to be a sort of focus group or consulting board of transgender pups, pets and handlers to discuss issues and barriers that we face specifically as transgender members of the community and ways that we might support events and event venues to overcome these barriers. Unfortunately, the social structure of the first version of this initiative wasn't fit for purpose and strong personalities clashed, and that online group was closed down in April this year. Me being me, determined to push forward, had a new space set up within a week with online support from pup and pet play events across the UK, the European Trans Pups and Handlers Telegram community, and also support from Proteus Leather, which is the UK's first transgender leather organisation, and we managed to regain momentum. We set up to have an elected committee of between 4 and 6 members. Committee members exist because they have committed to putting in the extra time and energy required to facilitate the running of the community and work towards achieving the goals we share as a community. We believe that our committee members shouldn't have a greater say in the running of and activities of the group than other members of the community. And this is because we acknowledge that community members don't all have the same time and energy available to them, and the intersection of disability and access needs shouldn't be a barrier to participation and having our voices heard. Any decisions made as to the structure of the community, our activism, our goals, our social events are always put to the wider community to discuss and often vote on. And the rules of our online community were put together by the whole community working together. We believe this approach gives our community members greater agency and ownership of Trans Pups and Pets UK in a climate where that agency over our bodies and identity is for the most part removed from us legally, and our healthcare put out of reach by impossibly long NHS waiting lists and cruelly expensive private alternatives. As a pup in my mid-30s, I recognised that it was not actually that long ago that Section 28 was still in place. I had left secondary school by the time it was rescinded, and equally, historically, it was relatively not long ago that homosexuality was still a criminal offence in this country, punishable by jail time and registering on a certain offenders list. The kink fetish community have consistently provided safe spaces for the LGBT community, and trans people need those safe spaces now more than ever. For this reason, Trans Pups and Pets UK is going to endeavour to operate as a consulting group for pup and pet play events and their venues across the country who want to improve their access for and inclusion of transgender pups, pets and handlers. We're also working to find ways to help transgender pups, pets and handlers to be more visible on the scene and to encourage our allies to stand with us. With support from Club Scritches, Puppy UK and Bark Against, big shout out to Scruff, we organised our very first in-person social at Trans Pride Birmingham last Saturday. We had a fantastic time, contributed our flyer to the Museum of Transology, and Trans Pride Birmingham were enthusiastic to take photos of us for their social media. We feel that this was a great step to work towards our goal of increasing the visibility of transgender pups, pets and handlers within the community. We were well supported by attendance of our cisgender pup and pet and handler counterparts. We had some fantastic educative conversations with members of the public about pup and pet play. Notably, attendees of the picnic who were not themselves pups, pet players or handlers felt very comfortable to sit with us and engage with us. I've written here that I've brought a few of our flyers with me, but I actually forgot, so I'm sorry. If you're listening attentively and are a quick note taker, our email address is transpap.uk@gmail.com, and the handle for both our Instagram and Twitter, or should I say it's an X now, is just @Trans Pups Pets UK. Behind me is our banner, which was handmade by myself and Co. From a bedsheet and t-shirts, quite from charity shops, 2 broom handles and a heck of a lot of spray adhesive. In the name of transparency, I myself am not currently on the committee for Trans Pups and Pets UK, as I'm taking some time to manage physical and mental health issues that have meant some big and difficult changes in both my private and public life. 2 of our committee members, Co and Chaos, Chaos behind me, Co's over there, are with me today and able to answer any questions you might have later. Co is my partner, and since my physical health issues brought in new limitations to my mobility in June, she stepped up as my full-time carer. You might overhear her telling me to sit down or rest, and if I don't do as she asks, feel free to also join in and tell me off. In the spirit of this month's event of inclusion and diversity, Boomy, as the event owner of Club Scritches, very kindly suggested that Club Scritches could put 50% of the money from this month's raffle towards a manual self-propelled wheelchair for myself, and also towards a mobility aid for another pup in our community. However, I have been lucky enough to receive a grant from Derbyshire Carers Association that has allowed me to purchase this wheelchair. I've come in today in full. That being the case, I suggested to the Club Scritches team that 50% of the raffle should still go towards helping the other pup needing financial support to acquire a much needed mobility aid, and of course Boomy and the team were in full agreement. That pup isn't with us today, but Boomy will be contacting them later on to sort that out. So yeah, Trans Pups and Pets UK.